order the City Council meeting of the City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, Monday, May 2nd, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Patty, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Julie Jules Chandler.
Present.
Councilmember Gerald Cohen. Here. Councilmember Pamela Gunn.
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell Croft.
Here.
Councilmember John Petrowski.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wanda Schwer.
Here.
Mayor Leslie Ford Notero.
Here.
City Manager Nancy Gonzalez.
Here.
Finance Officer Melanie Cruzona. Here. City Attorney Paul Marino.
Here.
Community Services Director Alan Godfrey.
Here.
Before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody on council to please lean forward and talk in your microphones when you're here, and if you got your phones on, turn them off, please. Thank you. Item number 1, approval of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Item 2, approval of the March 7th, 2016 City Council Work Session Meeting Minutes, the March 7th, 2016 City Council Meeting Minutes, the March 28th, 2016 Special Council Meeting Minutes, and the April 4th, 2016 City Council Minutes. Do I have a motion for approval of
So
the
moved.
various minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item 3, citizens' comments. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 3-minute presentation on any subject that is not on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Please come forward, speak into the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Marv Beam, Louise Drive. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
All right, this is pertaining to a letter that Dr. Ward and Jim Corrigan and myself sent to the city. And this is, the subject is revitalization of Bellevue Island Estates. I'll read it. The importance of undergrounding is essential in Bel Air Beach. In a past storm, the electrical wires at Bay Shore and 22nd Street blew down. No police, firemen, or rescue squads were able to enter the Bellevue Island Estates area, nor could any residents get off. The intersection was totally blocked for approximately 4 hours. That intersection includes 22nd Street and Bay Shore East, Alita, Louisa, and Donato. It is very evident that not only the underground of electrical wires and phone cable create a much-needed safe environment, it also creates a more aesthetic view and beautifies the area. Property values will increase and also make the area more desirable, thus citizens will want to enhance their properties by remodeling, landscaping, etc. We believe the Bel Air Beach government has started to envision the underground concept. This concept includes the removal of overhead wires and the addition of new street lighting to create a safe environment during hurricanes and storms, and will also provide a more attractive part of the city to live in. The majority of the residents on Bellevue Island Estates envision the same safe and aesthetics identical to the Belle Isle section of Bel Air Beach, which they have enjoyed for 30 years. The residents of Bellevue Island are willing to pay for this project with the help of our government to provide all the facts related to the project as well as information on a non-ad valorem tax district. For the record, Stephen Tart, Senior Vice President of Grib Philbeck Weaver Group at CPWG, completed a preliminary cost proposal for the residents of Bellevue Island Estates. The residents provided the review to the City of Bel Air Beach. Other waterfront residents in Bel Air Beach are also interested and they're in favor of doing something like this. So we're hoping that the city will move forward on this project because it's been tossed around for 15 years. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Mark. Mr. Bean. Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Board, and good evening for this opportunity to address you all. My name is Mark Goldman. I live at 437 22nd Street. So this is not my first time speaking to a council for Bel Air Beach. Once again, I'm bringing up the same subject, the one that Marv mentioned to you, and that is that it is becoming increasingly important that we consider positively addressing the issues that Marv relates to the board this evening. He told you about the many reasons. There are a lot more reasons that we should try to move forward with this as quickly as we possibly can. We've addressed it in the past with previous boards and have not been able to get anywhere for one reason or another. But I think now we have a great opportunity. The economics are in place to make this happen. The majority of the members of the residences throughout the community that I'm associated with, which is the Bellevue Estates, have already said they want this done. They're willing to pay for it. So the hard part, the hard sell, is already done. The easy part should now be for the board to figure out how to put this in place. There may be many obstacles that we will have to face, but with the willingness of and the participation of the membership of not only the board but of the residences, we feel very strongly that we can get this done. We've provided you with some documentation that Marv referred to. There's also been a polling of the majority of the residents in the area who are in favor of it, and we're anxiously awaiting some positive sign from the board to let us know that you're listening to us and you'll try to work something out so that we can maybe approach this issue sooner than later, prior to storm season, and get something on the drawing board that we can consider. So I thank you for indulging me in the last 3 minutes, and I look forward to meeting you all individually to discuss this same project with you and let you know why it's so important to the residents of the area. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Goldman.
Excuse me.
Anyone else?
I'm going to ask him a question.
Anyone else from the audience who'd like to? Thank you. See
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
I just got here. The discussion was,
We're in the citizens' comment where anyone from the audience can speak for 3 minutes on something that's not on the agenda.
I'm talking
Do you have
about,
an agenda schedule or something we can look at?
Yes, we do. There should
Thank
be one over there. Yeah. Please state your name and your address, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Luger. I live at 114 9th Street in Bel Air Beach. I've been a resident since 1969. I was formerly on this council back in the early 70s when Mayor David Jodry was mayor. And it's come to my attention about 10 minutes ago that y'all are considering eliminating fishing from the beach.
That's on the agenda, sir.
That is an agenda item?
Yes, it is, sir. We'll-
Okay, then I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the audience?
Madam Mayor, could I address a question at this time on the undergrounding?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Seeing no one else from the audience, I'll close citizen comments. Next item, the consent agenda. We have 3 proclamations. Number 1, proclaiming the month of May 2016 as Older Americans Month. Second, proclaiming May 1st through 7th, 2016 as Municipal Clerks Week. And the third, proclaiming May 15th through 21, 2016 as National Public Works Week. Do I have a motion to adopt these or issue these proclamations?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
On behalf of the older Americans, Mayor, I want to thank you all very much.
I didn't know if we had to recuse ourselves. Anyway, okay. The regular agenda, item number 5, discussion on fishing at Morgan Park. And I'll turn this over to our city manager, Nancy.
Yes, as you are all very much aware, we have received quite a few emails regarding, some of them are looking at banning the fishing totally at Morgan Park. So this is why this is on the agenda. It's been more than just 1 or 2 people. It's been several people in the condos. So this is for discussion. City Attorney Paul Marino has drafted, it's just drafted, it's not, if you want to take a look at it, if you like the idea, if you want to tweak, but it is all for discussion for tonight.
Thank you. Council members, we'll start down here. John?
Yeah, has any of the other cities down the beach, did they have the same problems?
I know Clearwater has a total ban on fishing on the beach. Indian Rocks has it's not a total ban, but within certain kinds of fishing, within certain distances and so on, theirs is very, like I say, elaborate. So they go from both ends of the spectrum.
Are there signs that tell them when they're outside the city limit and it's okay to fish? How is one to know how many feet they have to be from a public beach?
Can I answer that?
Sure.
Actually, from the standpoint of a public beach, since a lot of it's technically public in light of the nourishment project, we specifically identified just Morgan Park in approach. That seems to be the major area of concern. The other areas merely say, in close proximity to swimmers or bathers. That was designed to give it some flexibility and not be completely hard driven, so that it doesn't prohibit fishing from the beach. It just says, stay away from where people are swimming, and you can do it. What is close proximity? Got to play that by ear as you need to. The other part would be just with regard to the marina. So, and these I might note came from both Indian Rocks Beach as well as Clearwater Ideas, reviewing their codes. So I thought if this council wanted to entertain this as a subject, I just wanted to show you what it would look like on paper. It's up to you. I mean, I took the initiative to do this only to show you what it would look like on paper.
I understand, thank you.
So we're looking at,
No, they answer.
so we're looking at mostly just in front of Morgan Park.
From what
That's the
I see,
absolute prohibition.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only place that we've received complaints about it, was at Morgan Park.
Okay. Now, how far would you say Morgan Park extends on the beach? I mean, is there,
like, do you take the 2 sides of the
just go
parking
straight
lot
out?
and go straight out? I'm not sure.
Right, and
Yeah,
then how many feet past that? Do
Right.
they have to be 1,000 feet, 500 feet, or?
It doesn't say, they just can't fish from the beach.
Right, in that area.
Can
In
you
Morgan
share what
Park.
the complaints were?
There were,
They were all sent, yeah, Patty, I believe, emailed them to everybody. Every time we received one, they were emailed to you. Yeah. There were several, I'd say at least 5, probably 6, including Martha's. Mr. Wiggins, Scott Wiggins is the one that first started the emails, so.
and I believe it started, the thing that kicked it off was that somebody caught a shark, a very serious shark. I've caught sharks off the beach, but little guys. Jules?
Yeah, in section 1 of Paul, what you have there, it seems to me that it's kind of like choose one of those. Because
I'm sorry, say again.
one gives like A, says fishing in the city shall be conducted in accordance with the State Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, so on and so forth.
Yeah, both cities had that in there. It just says that in addition to everything else, you're going to comply with the state law on fishing.
Okay, and then B clearly says, don't do it. It is unlawful for any person to surf or spearfish. I can see the spearfishing, but surf fishing, I mean, so we have one incident that I am aware of, and correct me if I'm wrong. I know that I've seen people catch small sharks, and that it's in the they're in the water. But and I'm not a fisherman by any stretch of the means, by any means. But we have this issue with a shark, and it's a good-sized shark on the shore. But it's my understanding that that person wasn't trying to catch a shark. That's just what took the bait. They can't choose what takes the bait. And I don't like to see fishing lines on the shore. You know, when you have children swimming and walking, you know, the beach, sometimes that's an issue. But I just think all in all, banning it, even though I don't fish, I would have a problem with that, because we have a lot of restrictions. And sometimes restrictions are good, but, you know, just because somebody doesn't fish or does fish, I just think it's too restrictive, personally. And how do we enforce it is the second part of that, because I didn't realize that, I know that shark fishing was not cool in Clearwater Beach, and I still have a condo on Clearwater Beach. But does Clearwater Beach have a total ban?
Yes,
Okay, there's fishing a lot, because my condo's on North Beach. There's a lot of fishing there. So I just wanted that to be known. And how do we enforce it if that is something that we decide to do? So just to take into consideration.
Pam?
I think my question too would be whether you're banning just the shark fishing or fishing altogether.
Fishing altogether in
Fishing
those
all-
specific places.
Just having specific areas where they could fish away from the bathers. So that would mean putting up signs and once again, how are we going to enforce it?
That's what the sheriff would do on a complaint received.
Mitch?
I don't know, I have a general problem with it. I think you're trying to enforce common sense. You know, if you've got someone that's kind of staked out a spot on the beach where they've got their fishing gear, and they've got as much right to it, I think, as anybody who's down there to use the beach. I'd have issues with the ambiguity of the close proximity to swimmers or bathers. It's like, how do you know, is 6 feet enough? Is 10 feet enough? I think we're going down a bad pathway, and I don't see it's called for at this point.
Thank you. Wanda?
I think my only comment would be having, walking the beach early in the morning, which I don't do very often. I do see fishermen out there staking out some area, and they're usually surrounded by birds waiting for cast-off fish or grabbing it as soon as it comes in. But also, as it gets later in the morning, the swimmers and bathers come out, and they're hanging in the same area. If we're waiting to enforce it when there's a complaint, there may be a complaint that the swimmers have shown up after the fishermen have been there, and the swimmers are getting into the proximity of the fishermen as opposed to the other way around. Again, it's more going to be how it's enforced and who's going to set the limits for enforcement and what guidelines we put around that. I don't have a problem with people fishing from the beach. I think I have more of a problem with the nuisance birds hanging around them. And I don't think we can do anything about that.
No. Thank you. I share some of the same concerns about enforcing it. You know, close proximity to swimmers or bathers. If I'm out there fishing and somebody swims up near me, am I now doing something wrong? You know, and how do you, Yeah. Some of the same concerns everyone has
I
had.
think the only way to do that is.
Pardon?
The only way to do that is designate one area that they cannot fish in. Like you said, just in front of Morgan Park, they want to fish past that, that's open. But, because most of the people that go over there to Morgan Park are the ones that are going in the water.
Yeah, okay.
I would have to agree about what said, and also limitations, you know, how far. It's so ambiguous, as Mitch said. Yeah, I think it's just very difficult to lay those kind of laws down.
And I don't like the spearfishing idea. I just, you know, if you're not using the spear, where is that? Is that in the ground? Is it safe? Is people walking the beach, kids running around playing? That to me raised a red flag, but to fish, I don't see a problem. I mean, maybe designating an area, but does it really have to be enforced? Like Mitch said, you can't enforce common sense. If we had an area that said, well, we would prefer, and I don't know how we're going to do that, but to ban it outright is, I just think it's wrong. It's the beach, and I think that everybody is entitled to enjoy it how they see fit.
Thank you. Anyone else? I know we have some people out in the audience. Alan, were you going to say something? Excuse me.
Yeah, there's one part that...
Yep, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, there's one part that you already have an ordinance, and that deals with the marina in section 30-190. That's already established for the city, so that was the other one. And I think the spearfishing, there's a special fishing permit that you have to spearfish with. So.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I think that probably comes under the state fish and wildlife. And the other rules under there as to what you can keep and what you can't keep, and size limits and things like that. Yeah, I know we've got several people in the audience that want to comment on this, so. Sir? You already gave us your name. Mr. Luger, right?
Yes, that's Thomas J. Luger. Again, I've lived here in this city since '69, and as a matter of fact, if this whole affair is about the Morgan Street easement, contiguous and immediately to the north of the Morgan Street easement, my father, mother, and I, we built a chateau in 1969. So I have a fair working knowledge of the area. I might also add that when we built that property, donated the seawall returns to the city at our expense, obviously to protect our property. That was prior to any of the condos to the immediate south of the project. However, having said all that, I thought I heard the word 6 emails, and for this body to take up your time about that, might I ask, does anyone know how many emergency calls have been placed for people being injured by fishermen? Answer is probably 0. So is this just some condomaniac that's irritated that he has to walk around somebody? Or what? Yeah. You know, again, I agree with the lady, and I'm sorry your name escapes me. You're not a fisher person. However, I appreciate your sympathy to us people that do enjoy. One of the reasons why I chose to come here was to enjoy all the benefits that the city has. Not just sitting out and getting enough skin cancer that I can't deal with any longer, but I do enjoy fishing. And I know that there are a good number of other folks that do. And if it's going to start at Morgan, When is 6th Street? When is 12th Street? When is 9th Street going to be the next one? Where you're not allowed to have a fishing pole in your car or something? Oh, he might want to go fishing. So, enough said. If you all have any questions, you have my address. Be more than happy to respond in writing. Not an email. I still use a rotary dial phone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. My name's TJ, I'm his son. I grew up fishing here. Now, to help you with the spearfishing thing, FWC, they regulate us as fishermen pretty strictly. I just paid them a $400 bill this morning for my fishing license. Now, spearfishing is already illegal to transport a spear gun, a Hawaiian sling, a pole spear across any beach. That's already state law. You have to do that from a vessel. Okay? Now, I also believe that the high tide mark, if you were to make some ban on fishing, I can jump off my boat as long as I'm below the high tide mark, you can't stop me. That's state waters. I just wanted to let you guys know that that's how that is, and I would hate to see anybody, until someone gets injured or something. I mean, yes, catching sharks happens, catching trout happens, catching all the other toothy critters happens. I'd hate to see my daughter not to get the experience wetting a line while she's taking a swim. That would just be horrifying to me. And any questions you guys have, we can probably help you because we're fishermen and we want to enjoy that and see it be enjoyed by others.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Martha.
Martha Vasquez, 2500 Gulf Boulevard, Unit 202B. And I sent you emails. I talked to Mr. Wiggins, and his concern was with the shark. What he told me is these people came with a kayak and launched their kayak off the beach. And he was saying, well, what you gonna do? And they told him they were going shark fishing. And why are you doing it here? Because they don't let us in Clearwater Beach. I know there are people that are afraid of kids and whatever getting hooked by fishing that other people do that are careless. That's going to happen. I come from a fishing family. I'm the last person to say ban fishing. It might make some sense as the beach gets busier to limit to a certain section like Mormon Street Park, just that narrow area, but that's other issues too. My concern is that if we've got people coming to Bel Air Beach because they can't shark fish from Clearwater Beach, we're going to have a lot more people here going out there. I know sharks are out there. I know people are catching little ones off the beach. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem with people going out in a boat and bringing back a fish, a shark, onto the beach. Otherwise, that's what the beach is for. It's for everybody to enjoy with safety.
Thank you, Martha. Anyone else from the public wish to comment? Yeah. Anything else from the council at this point?
Yeah, I would be for banning shark fishing. Putting a ban on shark fishing, I'm all for, but not fishing anything else.
That seems a little difficult when something bites your line and you don't know what it is.
Well, you see it's a shark, you let it go.
How do you let it go?
But I mean, okay, maybe, isn't that catch and release? But
You have to bring it in to release it.
true, okay, well, maybe it's not a realistic thing. The other thing is, when you are fishing for sharks, don't you, or is that the movies, I don't know, chum? I mean, how do you fish for a shark? Is that different than fishing for anything else?
It can be.
Depends on your bait. Then you're in a boat and you're way out and you're trailing.
Yeah, then I don't know.
We can table this indefinitely if we
I move that we table this.
I second.
Okay, motion to, and second to table it. Any discussion?
No discussion on tabling.
Okay, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Table for now.
Thank you very much for indulging us.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Item number 6, request city council's authorization for the city manager to accept the memorandum of understanding submitted by the Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue District. Nancy?
This is just a memo of understanding that we get from the fire district every year. There is Bel Air Beach, Indian Shores, Bel Air Shore, and Indian Rocks Beach that all will go to that EOC facility. And usually it's at St. Jerome's Catholic Church. We haven't had our meeting yet. We are having a hurricane preparedness exercise. I believe it's on May the 16th, May 19th.
16th,
16th.
21st.
Yeah, and so we will be at EOC, but like I said, we do approve this memo of understanding on a yearly basis before hurricane season.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the memo to authorize the city manager? So moved. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're authorized. Consideration of resolution 2016-02.
Mayor, this is resolution of City Council, City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, authorizing signatures which are to appear on all city checks, drafts, draft writings, and instruments of any financial institution to accept any certified copies of this resolution as evidence of legal authority over city accounts and establish an effective date.
Do I have a motion for resolution 2016-02?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
Question, Nancy, is this basically, does this change anything, or is this the same thing we've done?
Well, you're the new mayor now, and we have a new vice mayor,
Other than
so.
moving names around?
Yeah, that's all it was removing some names and adding names for signature, so that's not the same.
Didn't we at one time have all council
We
members?
did, but we looked into it specifically what the charter says about check writing, and so we changed it to vice mayor, mayor, finance officer, city clerk, and city manager as charter officers, and that's what the charter states.
How many signatures are needed on a check?
There's only one needed. SunTrust only requires one, but we have to do what the charter says. And that says along with, public official, so.
We've got a motion and a second for resolution 2016-02. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
Oh, you need to roll.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry.
so. I was about to say that.
Okay, oops, take it, Pat.
Okay. Councilmember Chandler,
Aye.
Councilmember Cohen. Aye. Councilmember Gunn,
Aye.
Councilmember Crop,
Aye.
Councilmember Petrowski,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Schwer,
Aye.
Mayor Notaro.
Aye. Resolution passes 7-0. Number 8, consideration of resolution 2016-03. Paul?
This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, amending the Bel Air Beach Personnel Manual regarding health insurance and establishing an effective date.
Do I have a motion for 2016-03?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Now, is this any change from what we had before?
What we've done is, there is another option for employees now. They can opt out of the city's health insurance and go out on their own. They do get a certain amount of money per month towards to pay for their insurance. And 3 employees have opted out, which has been, I think, almost a $14,000 savings, is it? $16,000 to the city in health insurance. So, and we needed to make this change because we have to add that opting out in the personnel manual.
Any other questions, comments? Patty, call the roll.
Councilmember Cohen, Councilmember Gunn,
Aye.
Councilmember Crop,
Aye.
Councilmember Chandler,
Aye.
Councilmember Petrowski,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Schwer,
Aye.
Mayor Notaro.
Aye. Resolution passes 7-0. Item 9, mayor and council comments. We're going to start. Jules?
Okay, I have two, so if you want to go around again, that's fine, but one of them is, it was actually nice to see more people at tonight's meeting. So, you know, ever since I got on the council, I'm like, what can we do to get more people to be active? Typically, you get people that come, and once their agenda item is done, then they leave, and that's fine, but let's get more city residents involved. I wanted to find out if you were able to talk with our signage, okay, on the, you're driving, it's very difficult to see, even when you're looking, and I was looking for it today. Obviously, I knew there was a meeting, I was looking for it, I knew it was there, but it's hard to see because you're approaching a light. Typically, the people who park to go over the bridge and walk will see it, but they typically are not residents. Not all of them, but some of them are not residents. So have we looked into getting a flag to make people see something's going on at City Hall?
I did speak with the sign man, but Alan and I did speak as well, and they just have a brand new sign, the City of Seminole. It's electrical, it's a scrolling sign, and he was going to speak with them to see how much that would cost. He seems to think if it's something we could do, we would have to add it to the budget for 16, 17, but he seems to think that it would be able to fit inside of the sign that we have now. So he was going to get with the City of Seminole on that.
That'd be great. Thank you for looking into that.
Yeah, I should have that information. I just talked with Seminole Recreation today, and they're putting together a copy of their contract. So it would be a lot more visible to even coming off, but then you're also going to have an area that's very bright. So
Hopefully, you're going to get that contract shortly.
yes, we're trying to get that so we can get that into the budgets.
Okay, maybe have it on next month's agenda.
I could give you an update as to what we're looking at. We would actually have to have them, the sign company, come out and measure the square footage that we have on the sign, and then we'd have to look at how we would control it electronically, where it would be through a computer, Wi-Fi system, or something of that nature. So that would be, I could let you know where we're at in the process, but I don't think I'd have all of that information back. So.
I know you keep us informed. Thank you.
Yes.
Alan, get a chance, send me that contract so I can look at it.
All right.
And then my second item, would you like me to say that now, or do you want to go around
Let's
first?
take your time to choose.
Okay. Thank you. I went to grab you while you were still up there. It's my understanding that you have knowledge about what's going on with that retention basin? The fountain hasn't been working, and it looks like a swamp, and I'm sure it attracts mosquitoes. What's going on with that?
Okay, that's exactly what it is. It's a retention area. It's an area that's used to catch all the contaminants that comes off of Gulf Boulevard. I think, now that fountain has never been working since I've been
No,
here.
it has.
And I think, yeah, the problem that you have with the fountain in that area is that that pond is just too shallow. And I think that's why it's not operational anymore. It's not a lake. It's not anything that's going to be pristine, clear, clean water. The purpose of that is to catch the contaminants that we get from our roads and let it sit there and settle down to sit in the bottom of it. So it's not a pleasant area. We could look at maybe putting a white vinyl fence up around it or something of that nature. But I do know that the county monitors it as far as mosquitoes and such as that.
But what about as far as, okay, so I understand the fountain. I mean, I remember when it was working, but it has been a while that it has not been. Is it just because it's shallow water that we can't get it working again? Or that the county can't get it working again?
My understanding, one, is, well, they tried to have it, but there was such an expensive maintenance issue. Because what happens is the mud gets sucked up, the algae gets sucked up in it, and it was a constant maintenance issue. The last fountains I put in Seminole, Dogleg Pond, the one that has the lights and everything around it, that's about $6,000–7,000. So.
Can was quite expensive.
Thank you.
And that doesn't include the operating costs.
What about making the pond deeper and smaller?
Yeah, it's the county's pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be,
Never mind.
that would solve a lot of our flood issues if we could redo that pond ourselves to benefit the city rather than the county, but that's their property and their pond.
Pam?
Yeah, some of my neighbors keep on asking me about the progress in the undergrounding of utilities. And I know that's kind of a subject that keeps on being brought up, but I just wanted to keep them informed and find out if there's been any progress on doing the survey in the neighborhood.
I will tell you that we have met with some people from USF regarding the survey. We're still in the process of working some, methodology, costs and things like that with them. And we also have a new contact at Florida State who also does that. So it's a work in progress.
Thank you.
Okay. Mitch?
No, got nothing.
Okay. John?
One quick question, Alan, this is for you, you don't have to get up though, let me just ask this. I've had a couple, well, a bunch of residents ask me about where the turn lanes are up here at Gulf Boulevard, and they're wondering if there's any way to put those little white barriers between the two lanes. And I know it's a county road, so, but
Get ready. I have a meeting with the county next week. We've already looked at part of the engineering for the intersection modifications, or actually the mast arms that's going in there, the undergrounding of the electric that'll be in that area. So there will be some different signalization that will be in there, so we can look at it at that point in time. The county's a little bit hesitant on using flex stakes, as we call them. That's what, if you'll notice right across the bridge over here. Sometimes they create more of a problem, and they really give emergency vehicles and stuff like that real heck and everything. But we can, see if we at least have the let's see, they did the intersection painting, I think, about 2 years ago. But we could have a better quality of striping and such on the road.
yeah, because a lot of times, we have the arrow coming this way, and you're turning, and people coming, a lot of them don't stop, usually you have to stop.
Right.
Turn on the red and turn right, they just go through, and they're coming across the 2 lanes.
Yeah, we can probably look at some type of better markings out there, but I don't think, just due to that intersection design, the flex stakes would be, but we can check and see. Okay.
Anything else, John?
No, that's it.
Gerald?
I hate to keep bringing this up, but have we heard anything about traffic and the sign?
As a matter of fact, I emailed Ken Jacobs, who I believe is Rodney's, the gentleman who came with Tom Washburn to speak, his supervisor. And I told him what I was trying to find out. I said, what I want to know is about the message board signs not on Gulf Boulevard, not related to the ITS system. And I got a call the very next morning from Tom Washburn. Ken Jacobs had called Tom to have Tom call me. And I said, well, I've already had this conversation with Ken probably almost a year ago, and we're still waiting for an answer. I said, what we're looking for is when there's heavy congestion on the bridge, having a sign down at maybe Clearwater Largo Road or even Missouri that says, Beller Beach Causeway Bridge is congested, alternate route. I said, that's what they're looking for. So he was going to get back with me, so I'm still waiting for him to get back. I know. And I make it so clear that it's not on Gulf Boulevard. That's not what we're
It's
talking
got to be
about.
a warning so they can
Before they can get
make
there.
their turn.
Well, I'm going to the beach enhancement tomorrow in Madera Beach. I don't know if Ken Jacobs will be there. I don't know if Tom Washburn will be there, but I'll try to bring it up with someone there from the county. Again, still.
Okay. Wanda?
I I went to the Big C last week, and I'm sure Leslie will talk more about that. But Joe, I think you would have really enjoyed that one because the main presentation dealt with the signage on the streets and the infrastructure required to do it and all of the work that goes into planning for it years ahead of time. It's not something that they can just pull out of an inventory and stick it up. So I thought about you the whole time they were giving that presentation. But it was very interesting. I think they sent an email with the PowerPoint, but without having the verbiage that went along with it is kind of hard to put it all in context. But it was a really good presentation. I don't remember his name. It was on the agenda. His name was on the agenda.
I talked to him later, but I got his name somewhere.
And I'm sure Leslie will cover the rest of the meeting. It was a good meeting. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, a couple things that came up at the Big C meeting. You may remember that maybe 5 or 6 years ago, the guys up in Tallahassee passed a law that said local municipalities could not regulate vacation rentals. Fortunately, we were grandfathered in that we already had ours in place. But it's become a really big issue amongst many of the other beachfront communities. And they look at it as a home rule issue. We know better how to do things for our municipalities than the guys up in Tallahassee do. So like as I said, it was brought up at the Big C meeting. It's on the Mayor's Council agenda for Wednesday. But they're looking to get support from all the communities. There'll probably be resolutions that they'll ask us to pass to have, the state allow municipalities to do their own vacation rental rules. And as I said, although it doesn't affect us directly, I would certainly hope that we can support them from the home rule standpoint, as well as, support them, and maybe when we need something, they'll be willing to help us. Yes.
Didn't Indian Rock Beach say they were having a problem with that because they had tried to tweak their ordinance and that lost their grandfathering?
Yeah, it's been a nightmare for many of these.
So we don't want to tweak ours.
No, but we want the state to, so I say, get out of it. Let the municipalities exercise their own rule powers.
You don't want to mess with your ordinance,
Correct.
because you can step right outside your grandfather.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to leave that as it is. Tomorrow morning, there's this MPO listening session regarding enhancing beach access, which I know that Cookie Kennedy was here last meeting to talk about it. Nancy and I are going to that, and we'll address some of the traffic issues. Tomorrow evening, Pinellas County is having a community conversation with the Pinellas County Board of Commissioners and the county administrator. It's a meeting that's going to be from 6 to 7 p.m. at St. Petersburg College Seminole campus, where they want to talk to residents and elected officials within the county. So if any of you guys are available tomorrow night from 6 to 7 p.m., I plan on going. It could be very interesting.
I'll check. I would be interested.
If you go on the Pinellas County website, it's called Community Conversation, and it'll show you exactly where it is. Another thing that the county has going is they have this new program called Alert Pinellas, which is an emergency notification system. And if you sign up for it, you give them your cell phone number, whatever, and if there's an emergency coming up, like a storm coming through, a hurricane coming, whatever, they will send you a message. I would suggest anyone, I'd suggest that you look into that.
They actually call your home phone. They did
Yes.
it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That, Mayor, that's like a reverse 911 system that a lot of cities have been using,
Yeah.
and it's very effective and very important. to get the people to alert them.
Yeah, especially, you know, with hurricane season coming up, it would be a good thing for everybody to sign up for it. I think I gave Pam some information about it that she should have at the front desk if anyone wants to look into it, or you can go onto the county's website. That's about all I've got. Paul?
Something like, it just slipped my mind. Nancy and I have been communicating. We're still giving some latitude to the attorney and proprietor of the company, Offshore Fuel, to resolve their problems with their carrier before we go after them. I was hoping to take the easy road, give them a lot of latitude so that it makes it easier in bringing an action against them and a claim against them, because I'd rather be dealing with an insurance company than with a guy. And still, we have the problem of whether or not our due diligence as lawyers says I really should go after everybody who is technically responsible, and that might also include the property owner. So I'm gonna let y'all decide that one, but I can go either way. And they'll probably third party into the property owner.
Keep us informed.
But I think that's the only thing I had at this point.
Nancy?
No, really the only thing is we're beginning, working on the budget now, all departments, and all the budgets are supposed to be to the finance officer this Friday. So, and then our workshop, I believe we have one in July and the second one in August. So I've kept a lot of things from last year, things that were suggested to me that we did not budget for, that we'll be discussing. And I'm sure there'll be several new items for us to discuss. For instance, this new sign that we're talking about, because I think they're quite expensive. So that's really it.
I forgot one thing. I think Wanda may remember this from the Big C meeting. There is a move afoot to set up waterborne transportation. To have like a ferry service that goes, I know they're talking about the one between St. Pete and Tampa, but this would go up and down the intercoastal. And one of the theories is it'll take some of the people off of Gulf Boulevard. You know, they can take a boat, experience the beauty of the intercoastal. Maybe it will ease our gridlock on Gulf Boulevard. So
where will it go?
Well, there would be, basically at the south end, and have various stops along the way up as far as, I'm not sure if it's going to go up to Clearwater Beach or beyond that, I'm not sure. It's still something that's sort of in the works, but I think it would be something that could be very helpful to us, even if we didn't have a stop here, to at least get some of those cars off of Gulf Boulevard.
One of the people involved in getting this set up has a ferry service in Clearwater, so it would start in Clearwater, and they're talking about stopping in Indian Rocks Beach, and then it hovers down in Johns Pass at this point. It's basically the ferry owners and the dock owners that are talking about it right now, and there's probably will be asking for support from the cities along the beaches.
Yes. Okay. Motion to adjourn? Any, not in favor?